welcome back to my tutorial videos. This is video 7, and we're gonna look at how to get something from Blender into Unity. So if you have your object here in Blender and you have your Unity set up with the folder somewhere in the hierarchy, all it takes now in Unity 5.0 is just saving a Blender model into that folder. So my model is called My House. If we go back to Unity, here it is, and all you have to do now is put it in the game. If you put it here, it's going to be centered. Should have been centered at 0, 0, 0. So this is the house. One thing I'd like to show you is the normals. So let's look at our models. Of course, if you were to make any changes, you will see it right away in Unity. So I just clicked Z to look at the X-ray mode, B to select box, and now moving this way up. If I save and go back to Unity, oh look, my house has a huge chimney now. And what I was talking about, the normals. So as you can see here, this looks like it's an opaque house, right? But what we're going to do is look at the normals again by clicking N to get this little window, and it looks like these normals are coming out. Great. What we're going to do is we're going to mess with them. This wall, and actually, yeah, this door, we're going to reverse normals on that one. I always forget where they are. This is remove doubles on the tools and options. And yeah, okay, we're here. Flip direction. So you see this door is now getting a little darker. It's still there. I mean, the object is still there. Let's do the same thing for this and that and that, and flip directions. You can see the little blue vector is now coming in, and if we save, it's going inside the structure instead of pointing out. Let's look what happened with Unity. Oh look, it means it looks like we can see through it. If the camera were inside, we would be inside the house, we would be able to see these panels that are reversed. So it's always a good idea. I mean, those panels are still there, we just can now just see through them, which is not a good idea. Once you're done building your object, it's always good to, if you look at it and you see some really dark flat surfaces, that's a telltale sign that the normals are reversed. But what you should do is go into edit mode and really check it out. Now to fix it, you can either select everything and say recalculate, and it automatically will get recalculated, or you can select whatever panel it is and whatever surface that is, and reverse its normals. All fixed. Now let's look at the center of an object. So it looks like in this object the center is right in the middle of the house at the bottom, right? That means that the center, that means that when Unity wants to move the object, it's actually going to act upon this center. When you attach an object to this house in Unity, it'll be attached to this center. When you rotate, let's make a quick rotate example. Okay, I opened Visual Studio and I don't know why I clicked that because there's nothing there. Let's create a C# and we call it house rot. Okay, why is it not opening? Oh, there it is. It's in my other screen. Okay, all we're gonna do is transform, meaning transform this house. Huh, I don't have IntelliSense on this. That's not good. Usually if I reopen it, it should fix itself. And not having IntelliSense is not just a convenience problem. It's also that there is a problem. There's no reference to the Unity library. So transform dot rotate. Vector 3, I think it's the Y for, yeah, so it's going to be vector 3 up, and time dot delta time times 30 f. Okay, let's save that. Now this script is right here. We attach the script to the house. Let's check it. No, you can either drop the script on the house or right here. And we don't need this animator. Remove. Okay, let's spin it, and it looks like it's spinning right around the center of the house. If we want to change the center, there are two ways to do it. Either you do it the noob way, which is going into edit mode, and when you move edit mode, the center always stays stationary. So right now, so let's say if I were to move this house right here, see the center is a little out, let's save it. If we go to Unity now, and if we play, it should spin around right here. And it's also, like I said, a point where you attach, where other objects are attached. So if I were to make a cube, right, and I were to scale it up, let's give it a 5, a 5, 5, right, and I attach the cube to my house, and I would reset its transform. There we go, it is now attached to, it is at the 0, 0 position of the transform's base point, which is the center in Unity. And like you see here, since they're attached, they're both going to spin together. So that's cool. Another quick thing to talk about is scaling when it comes to bringing something from Unity to Blender to Unity. There's a big difference between scaling an object. Oh, first of all, before scaling, the good way of changing the base point of an object, the root, it's called, so it's the root point. So I said either you take the mesh in edit mode and you move it around relative to that point, but it's actually better to bring the point to where you want it. So this involves knowing where your cursor is. The cursor is this little cross mark with a red and white circle here. So what you wanted, let's say I wanted my my center to be the tip top of this chimney, right? Like what I would do is select these faces, and I would bring my cursor to the center of the selected, which is Shift S, cursor to selected. There we go, my cursor is right in the center. And I would go into object mode, have my house selected. It's all outlined in yellow, that means it's selected, right? Not selected, selected, I just pressed A. And now I would click Shift, click, so I would click and hold Shift, Control, Alt, and C, and I would bring Origin to 3D cursor, and there we go. Now the center has moved to here, and if I were to save, go to Unity, and there we go. The house has moved, and the center is now the chimney. So yeah, pretty cool. Now scaling. So this object has a scale of 1, which is reflected in Unity when you look at the object scale, which is 1. There's a difference between scaling the object as such, S, and let's say 2, and you will see that the scale now is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Save it. Go to Unity. Now the house is twice as big, and its scale is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Let's make another house, and this time we'll scale the mesh and not the object. Let's get this back to scale of 1, and let's save it as my house 1. That's the scale, right? Go to Unity. There will be 2 houses, the first one and the second one. Let's put the second one on top of my house and center it. Great, and bring it out. Is this my health one? Yes, it is. Oh, Yeah, if I sorry, since I reset it, it took the parent's position, rotation, and it also took the scale of the parent. So let's just do it by hand here, or I could also parent it, but instead of resetting everything, I'm just going to reset the position because that's what I wanted. Just the position. Okay. And now take it out of the house. Okay. Now we have two different objects, and you can see how one is half the size. But if I were to go and you see that this house's scale is 2 and this house's scale is 1, but if I go back to my Blender and now take this object whose scale is 1 and double the mesh's scale by 2. This makes the house bigger, but it keeps its object scale at 1, which will look in Unity, both houses that have the same size, but they have a different scale. One has a scale of 2 and the other one has a scale of 1. So this is the difference between scaling an object in edit mode versus scaling the object in object mode. You usually want to keep the object scale as 1 and go into edit mode to change its size and do whatever you want. It's always good that all of the objects in Unity all have the same scale, 1, 1, 1. Otherwise, we get into weird issues. A good unit of measure is one that we will all have, which is when you open Blender, the first cube that shows up should be what we reference as a unit cube. So the size of this cube is a 1. So make sure you keep everything. So if I were to make a door that is 3 by 2, and you have to make a character, make sure that you stack up these blocks 3 up and 2 on the side and create your character that is going to fit there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I guess I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, we'll talk more about a few things. Ask me questions if you want to learn more things about Blender, if you've played with it and have a few questions. I'm sure it's very overwhelming at first, but I think I gave you just the tools, the basic tools that you would need to model something, and once you get comfortable with that, we will talk about how to have a good mesh. It's very important to have a good mesh because things like, let's say, this is not acceptable. Like this, like having an object that looks like this is not acceptable. That will cause a few issues in Unity when you have like an object going inside of the other. What should really be done is really segmenting this out, taking away, let's hide this, taking away the inside architecture. Everything should just be hollow. That will make it a lot easier when we have to texture things, because when you texture something, imagine that you had a pair of scissors or a knife and you would cut all of the surfaces and flatten them out and then draw on those surfaces. And if you have surfaces that are going inside of each other, you're gonna have a hard time. Anyways, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.